I'm going to be doing a vinyl collection video. Collecting for a couple of years now, probably like 2 years. I have around 30 vinyls, 25 vinyls in my collection. And yeah, I just wanted to make a video. You know, I'm a big hip hop guy, so I have a lot of new hip hop music, which I find is extremely rare to find on YouTube. Like, I look through vinyl collection videos and it's all girls with like Lana Del Rey and like, you know what I'm talking about. Like, it's all the same stuff, same music. I search and dig for vinyl collection videos for rap music. One of the first guys I ran into was Taboo. Yeah, so I mean, I've dug through multiple record collection videos and haven't found many that are hip hop based. So today I just want to show you half of my collection. So the first album I have is Kids See Ghosts with Kanye West and Kid Cudi. This album, I think, it didn't hit a lot of people well at first listen, including myself. I listened to this at first and I was like, you know, Cudi sounds good on it, but like it's kind of wacky and it's kind of all over the place. And then once I started listening to it over and over again, like I just got like addicted to this thing. I just played this front to back over and over for like 3 weeks, and some of my favorite songs ever are off of this thing, which is crazy. For example, Reborn is my favorite top 5 song of all time. That song just makes me happy. Like, it comes on and I'm instantly happy. My other favorite songs off of this, Cudi Montage is fire, Kids See Ghosts, and Free are all my favorite songs off of this project. Comes on standard black, has like a cool plastic insert, and that's the inside. You know, it's really standard packaging. It was $13, so nothing crazy. I feel like Kanye could have went a little more. He could have made like the disc match the colors of the cover, which would have been really cool. But yeah, that's my first record. Next up, I have Good Kid, Mad City. Debatably Kendrick Lamar's best album, unless you're the life of Pablo. Unless you are To Pimp a Butterfly kind of guy. But I personally like this more. I think To Pimp a Butterfly was really political, and it was really important what he did, but it's just, I didn't find myself listening to it that much personally, but it's still a great album. I think it's his second best in my opinion, but this is my favorite. I remember the first time I ever drank a sip of alcohol was to swimming pools, and I thought that was super cool. Like, I was like, yo, we're gonna drink, let's put on swimming pools. Whatever, so like that was just a nice memory I have with this, but this thing has bangers on bangers. My favorite songs off of it are Bitch Don't Kill My Vibe, Backseat Freestyle, Money Trees, Poetic Justice, Mad City, Swimming Pools. Dude, so many good songs on this. Gatefold, Kendrick Lamar with his family, standard black vinyl, must have in the collection. Next up, The Incredible True Story by Logic. To me, this is Logic's best album. I put it over Under Pressure because the production value on this thing is insane. I think this is Six's best work. I also think Logic's flow and lyrics combined on this are just disgusting. Like, Paradise, dude, my favorite song on this thing is insane. If you've never heard it, check it out. But front to back, this is a 10 to me, and it's so underrated in hip-hop, and it doesn't get enough love. The man literally like creates a whole storyline throughout his next 4 albums, starting with this album, and it's just insane. It has a really cool trifold with like a little insert that I'm not gonna read you, and yeah, you have it on the other side. It extends out. That's his whole crew. And yeah, my favorite songs, like I said, Paradise, Lord Willin', Like Whoa, Stainless, City of Stars. Dude, this thing has so many good songs. People don't even know about it. Like, non-Logic fans don't even know this exists. I feel like they maybe know like 2 songs, like Whoa and Fade Away. But yeah. Alright, so next up I have Mac Miller's kids. This is my second favorite Mac Miller project of all time. And a lot of people will look at me and say, what do you mean? Like, why? This is possibly one of the best mixtapes of the 2000s. It's a lot of boom bap, but there's also a lot of songs on here that I played heavily throughout high school, and they gave me confidence. At that time, he was really the guy that was coming up on the internet for the first time with Wiz Khalifa and all those guys, showing kids my age that you could do whatever you want to do, and that it's possible. You could do it without any help. You could just, make it. And he really captured me with this album. I listened to the High Life prior to it, and I liked Mac Miller. This album has some of my favorite songs of all time on it. It instantly makes me happy. It instantly brings me back to high school. There's just so many good songs on this thing, dude. Kicking incredibly dope shit. Outside's one of my favorite songs of all time. Nike's on My Feet. Senior Skip Day, The Spins, Don't Mind If I Do, Good Evening, Knock Knock, dude. Kool-Aid and Frozen Pizza. Logic owes his career to that song, dude. His first Young Sinatra he's ever made was based off that song. Poppy, dude, there's so many good songs on this thing. I had to get it. This was one of my favorite projects in all of hip hop. It sounds so weird to say that because it's such a young, immature album, but at the same time, it's so important in my opinion. This is why I'm such a big Mac Miller fan. It started with this project, and this is a bootleg. Paid good money for this thing, but it comes. I'll show you the other one. Standard packaging, nothing special to it, but it came out really nice, and it actually plays really well. So I'm extremely happy with this. This is what really kind of jump-started my vinyl collection. I wanted this forever because it's such a hard thing to find. For example, you need to download it off of DatPiff or something like that if you want it on your iPod, and for some reason my iPod always doesn't download it correctly, and that's what really wanted me to start collecting vinyl, because I'm I want something that's physical that I'm gonna have forever. I don't want to lose something that's not there. I'm paying a subscription on Apple Music. What happens if I stop paying it? I just want something physical, and this was a big start to my collection for me. Next one I have, more Mac Miller. Watching Movies with the Sound Off. This is another important album. This is my third favorite Mac Miller project of all time. And this is him transitioning from that frat rap phrase that people boxed him into early on in his career, which I don't like when people say that about him. But this was his first step out of it. Macadelic was a little bit of a transition, more, drug-based. And this was more of I'm in my small apartment all alone, thinking about God, thinking about religion, thinking about drugs, thinking about my demons, what is going on with me. This is him at one of his lowest points in his life. And I remember watching, various videos of him on YouTube, and I'm thinking, this guy, he's gaining weight, he's doing a lot of different drugs, he doesn't look good, he doesn't look healthy. And I think the result of that was just a genius project, in my opinion. This and Faces. And yeah, this is a great album. My favorite songs off of it would be The Star Room, Matches, Objects in the Mirror, Aquarium, Someone Like You, and Claymation. Those are my favorite songs off of this. Has a gatefold. And it's on standard black. I thought I got red splatter when I ordered it, but I didn't. It was just black vinyl, and I got money back for it because Amazon lied to me. And I got it pretty cheap, so I was happy about that. So I have two Mac Miller albums that are tied for first, and it is Swimming and Faces. But Swimming, to me, is one of Mac Miller's best projects, or is the best album of Mac Miller's. And the reason I think this is because if you followed this man for his whole career, this is kind of the grail. This is kind of the almighty project. This is his story, almost finished. Not because he passed away, but more because he talks about finding self-care, self-love, how to deal with his mental illnesses, how to conquer things, and there's just so many great messages behind this album, front to back. Like, it just doesn't have a bad song on it. It teaches you to keep going, to always keep swimming. If you get thrown into water, you don't want to drown. You're going to keep swimming. You always have to keep swimming. And it's such a simple concept, but there's so many different little hidden meanings behind this project. And some of his best work, I mean, the sounds on this thing are beautiful. It made me cry the first time I listened to it. And it meant even more to me after he passed away. It was just kind of frustrating because this was the album that he made for himself and nobody else. You know, Good AM was an album that he was going for like the same kind of approach, like Good Morning, New Lifestyle, I'm Awake Now, blah, blah, blah. But that was like more for the people, like the fans. This was for himself. Like, this is so personal to me. And it's the last thing he'll ever release on this earth, which is sad, but yeah. Had to get this. My sister got me this for Christmas. Look at that. Beautiful, dude. This is my favorite piece of my collection. It's worth a lot of money now. Yeah, my favorite songs off this. Everything. Literally every song, but my all-time favorites are Wings, Perfecto, Come Back to Earth, Dunno, and Jet Fuel, and 2009. All really good songs. Rest in peace. The next album is Astroworld. This was dropped at the same time as Swimming, and both of them are some of my favorite projects. But yeah, this thing slaps, dude. I mean, I remember listening to this for the first time and just being mind blown. I was in my car, it was like 2 a.m, and I was just, dude, I felt like I was on a roller coaster listening to this thing. He really stepped it up. He changed rap with this album, in my opinion. The beat switches on this thing are just nasty. There's never a moment where you're bored listening to this thing. And I loved when I first listened to it that there was no features shown, and like all the artists that came on were surprises, because it just like hit me a whole nother way. Like, I don't think I've ever been more hyped listening to an album than Astroworld. It lived up to the expectations. It lived up to the wait. Just an incredible album. One of my favorite releases of 2018. And this is really cool. It gives you the dark theme that got removed, and then people had a whole controversy over it because he thought he was taking it off because there was like a transvestite on it or something. But yeah, this is... I think that's her, actually. She was on the original cover. And yeah, I dropped something real quick. So that's on standard black. I didn't get the purple one because I was slow to getting it. I picked this up kind of later on. And my favorite songs are Carousel, No Bystanders, Stop Trying to Be God, Wake Up, Houston Fornication, and Yosemite. Those are all my favorites off of this, but like I said, I like every song on this album. Mostly every album I own, I like every song on it. That's why I get them. Alright, so my next album is Taboo by Denzel Curry. This is just a masterpiece in my opinion. This is such an underrated album. And I kind of like that it's underrated because I don't really want people to know about it. It sounds bad, but like, it is just so good, dude. This is my first time ever listening to Denzel Curry. Was with this project. I saw a lot of vinyl collection videos, like hip hop ones that had this in it, and I'm like, what is that? I've never even heard of it. And then I searched it, and I literally binged this album for 3 months. It was all I was listening to. So yeah, this guy to me is one of the best upcoming rappers in the game right now. Super underrated, super talented. Has 3 phases, black, gray, white, for different parts of his life, his emotions. And that's the sleeve. And then I got the Tour Magenta vinyl, which is very cool. So yeah, really good project. A lot of personal things, a lot of trap beats, a lot of cool beat production on this thing. My favorite record on this is Black Balloons, but there are so many good ones on here. Sirens, you know, just really, really good songs on this thing, front and back. So my next project I have is Zoo by Denzel Curry. I pre-ordered this without ever listening to it off of Vinyl Me Please, because they released 1,000 copies of this only, and I thought it was gonna be, you know, it's gotta be fire, it's Denzel Curry, and it was. Zoo is very good, very quick album, but it captures his hometown of Miami and where he grew up, and this is the vinyl. Look at that. Just super cool splatter vinyl, the only splatter vinyl I own. And yeah, this thing just bangs, you know, like it's the type of album you want to play when you're driving in the car, you know, with the windows down on a nice day in Miami. A lot of Miami influence in here. And I love this project. My favorite songs off of it are Zoo, Ricky, Wish, Speedboat, Bushy Bee Interlude, and PAT. Those are my favorites off of this project. Vinyl is Drake's Nothing Was the Same. To me, this is Drake's best album ever. 40 is amazing on this thing. Drake's flow, delivery, bars, everything about it, this is Drake at his best. And to me, there's just no other comparison in Drake's discography to this. That's the back. This is a bootleg, this was never officially released. And we got Purple. This is, yeah, I mean, I'm a huge Drake fan. I want to get his whole discography on vinyl, and I will eventually. But yeah, this is his best work in my opinion. My favorite songs off of this thing are Furthest Thing, From Time, Too Much, Hold On We're Going Home, Pound Cake, and Come Through. Really, really good stuff. Alright. And my last vinyl that I have for today is Drake's Scorpion. I didn't like this album at first. I thought it was his worst project released. Until I started listening to it, like it grew on me. I started listening to it a good amount, and it really started to grow on me because it has, you know, Drake in a completely different mindset than what he usually is. He's going for blood on this album. He's confronting a lot of people who were talking bad about him, you know, talking about his son, Pusha T, Kanye West, a couple other like little beefs that he addresses on this project. But yeah, like the first A side is just him confronting all of those people, all of those stories about him in the media. And his tone on it's very monotone. It's like he's kind of fed up with fame and those types of, and the things that come with fame. Yeah, the B-side is Take Care Part 2, in my opinion, which is really good. Favorite songs off of this thing are Nonstop, Emotionless, 8 out of 10, Can't Take a Joke, Sandra's Rose on the A-side. On the B-side, it's Peak, Jaded, Finesse, Don't Matter to Me, and yeah, really good album. Grew on me a lot. Platinum selling, gatefold, standard black vinyl that comes on. And yeah, that's my vinyl collection. I'm doing these more as my collection grows. I have a whole other half of my collection that I'm gonna save for another video. I'll show you my setup, and that'll be the end of the video, all right? Thanks guys, peace.